What better time to talk about the greatest shark movie ever made than the week of the 4th of July? Let's do it. Jaws opens up with this group of teenagers hanging out, drinking on the beach. This guy and girl run off, and she decides to jump in the water, and he is left behind on the shore, passed out drunk. As she's in the water, we see something approaching her from below. She starts to be attacked and thrashed around violently by this unseen force and eventually is dragged underwater. We then meet Police Chief Martin Brody, who recently moved to the island of Amity with his wife Ellen and their two sons, Michael and Sean. And he gets a call about this girl's body washing up on the shore of the beach. He goes to check it out, and the medical examiner declares it as a shark attack, so that's what he puts in his report. So Brody decides that he's got to close the beaches. That is until this bitch-ass mayor, Larry Vaughn, approaches him and is like, on whose authority are you closing the beaches? It's summer in Amity. And he shows up with the coroner who tells Brody, oh, I think I fucked up. It was a boating accident. Let's change the report. So Brody has no choice but to accept this, and he goes to the beach, which is very crowded and full of people swimming. We see this little boy, Alex, go out on the water in his little raft. And Brody watches from the shore as Alex is attacked and killed by the shark. Alex's mother, Mrs. Kintner, is absolutely devastated, and she places a $3,000 bounty on the head of the shark for whoever can catch it and kill it. And this is where we meet Quint, who is like the resident crazy person, but also a local fisherman who specializes in catching sharks. And he offers to catch and kill the shark for $10,000. The mayor tells him that they'll consider it, and when Brody tries to close the beaches, he assures the town we're only closing them for 24 hours. So Brody decides to bring in an oceanographer, and he brings in Matt Hooper, and he examines the girl's body and determines that this girl was attacked and killed by a very large shark, abnormally large for these waters. But we then see a group of fishermen catch and kill a tiger shark that they assume to be the shark that did this. But when Hooper measures the bite radius, he's not convinced. Brody and Hooper eventually cut the shark open and don't find the remains of the little boy, so they know this is not the shark that did it. Then he convinces Brody to go with him out on the water at night to search the waters where the shark has been feeding. They find this abandoned boat, which Brody recognizes as one of the local fishermen's. Hooper gets in the water to investigate it, where he finds a shark tooth in the boat, and he also is startled when the body of the fisherman pops up, which this causes him to drop the tooth and frantically swim back to the boat. So they go to the mayor and once again ask him to close the beaches, and he's like, nah. Because Amity is a summer town and it needs summer dollars. We're relying on this weekend. It's the 4th of July. The 4th of July weekend rolls around and we see a bunch of tourists coming into town. Brody has put some safety precautions into place, including a helicopter flying around and police out on the water looking to see if the shark comes to shore. And these two little fucking brats play a prank where they have a fake fin and they swim near everybody and they cause an absolute panic. And as the chaos is going on, somebody starts to scream about a shark in the pond, which is this little inlet of water where Brody's son Michael is swimming with his friends. And in what I think is the scariest scene of this whole movie, we watch the shark overturn a boat and kill a fisherman on it. So Brody takes his son to the hospital, he's fine, and he encounters the mayor there who is just distraught, which like, fuck you guy, this is your fault. Brody finally gets the mayor to agree to hire Quint to kill the shark. So Brody and Hooper team up with Quint, and the three of them set out on the Orca, Quint's boat, to go hunt down this shark. So some time goes by and eventually Brody is chumming the water, and we get one of the greatest jump scares of all time when the shark suddenly pops up, and it's the first time we really see the thing. Brody delivers his iconic line, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." So Quint sees it and estimates this thing to be 25 feet long. Now, one of his plans is to tie these barrels to a harpoon and shoot the shark, which he does, so now they can see where it is because it's attached to this barrel. But the shark is able to pull the first barrel underwater with it. So that night, the guys are just drinking, hanging out, they're exchanging stories about their scars, and that's when Quint reveals to the guys that he was on the USS Indianapolis. This was a World War II ship that sank, and a bunch of people went into the sea, and some of them were taken out by sharks. It's a real story, look it up. But that's why he's got such a vendetta for sharks. Then suddenly the shark shows back up and rams into the boat. So as they're trying to fix the engine, Brody tries to call the Coast Guard for help, but Quint, in a rage, just smashes the shit out of the radio and destroys it because he wants to kill this shark himself. The shark shows up again and Quint is able to shoot it with another harpoon and another barrel. And they try to tie the barrels to the cleats on the back of the boat so that they can drag the shark back. But the shark is just too strong and it starts dragging the boat and it starts taking on water, and eventually the cleats snap and the shark escapes. So Quint decides that he's going to go back to shore and the shark will hopefully follow them so they can get him in shallow water. Because the boat has taken on water, it's flooded the engine and the boat stops. The boat is sinking and they're running out of options, and Hooper suggests that he go down in this cage that he brought. He has this poison with him, and if he can inject it into the shark, it will knock it out. But as he's down there, the shark attacks the cage and rips it open. We see Hooper escape as he's tearing the cage apart and kind of hide on the ocean floor. Then the shark goes for the other two. It literally leaps out of the water onto the back of the orca, which causes it to tilt and causes Quint and Brody to start falling towards it. And as much as Quint tries to hold on, he lets go and falls directly into the shark's mouth, and it eats him and he dies. Very slow, painful death. This is my own personal hell. And as the boat is sinking rapidly, the shark then turns its sights on Brody. He grabs this oxygen tank that is nearby and he uses it to bash the shark, and he throws it into the shark's mouth. And he climbs up to the tower of the boat as it's rapidly sinking and as the shark is coming at him full speed. And Brody takes out his rifle and starts shooting at the shark to try and hit the tank in its mouth. He keeps missing and missing, but ultimately he says, "Smile, you son of a," and he shoots and the shark fucking explodes. He hits the tank. Brody laughs and screams in victory, and then Hooper resurfaces, having lived. The two of them make a makeshift raft and paddle back to shore as Brody says, "I used to hate the water," and Hooper says, "I can't imagine why," and the movie ends.